started it in 2014, spring of 2014, and I got involved, I think, because I was probably one of the people who read about the starting up of a food bank in Guildford, and I don't think I was the only one who probably said aloud and to each other, I think our parish should be supporting this, and how do we do it? And I had some conversations, as I'm sure other people did, with Robert Cotton, the rector, and there was a suggestion came out that we should suggest that we had a congregational collection at Holy Trinity Church once a month, referring to whatever the food bank said would be helpful to come in the way of donations. And that's really how it started. I would describe it mostly as store-covered items. In other words, mostly tins, things that keep, don't need to go in the fridge, don't need to go in the freezer, but things that can be stored and therefore have a longish shelf life. So it is very much what you would call groceries, the things that go on a shelf rather than have to go in a fridge or have to go in a freezer. Plus, household cleaning items, washing powder, spray cleaners for surfaces, and toiletries, loo rolls, kitchen roll, the things that household need, but that don't, that keep, basically. I think one of the difficulties initially was because the church is closed. We did start up again when the churches were able to open. I was checking with the food bank to see whether they would, still be happy. And of course they were, and I know that other churches, I'm sure, collected and continued with their donations from their members, even though the churches were not open for services. So we didn't manage that, but as soon as we were able to start meeting in church, then I got the rota, as it were, the delivery rota up and running again. And we are hoping that if we are back and able to meet in church in December, that, there will be a collection then. Having said that, I know that there are individuals in the congregation who have taken their own donations directly up to Park Barn during the lockdown, and have made financial contributions too. So the support has continued. From my point of view, it just pricked the conscience. I think our church ought to be visibly seen to be supporting the food bank in whatever ways it could, and having a monthly collection, asking people to donate once a month items that would be of use to the clients of the food bank seemed the first thing that we could do, and it was bringing the whole issue of food poverty, and even in a place, a relatively wealthy place like Guildford, to the attention of our congregation and our parish. You could say it's an elastoplast on a much bigger wound, really. But if you don't do anything, how is anything ever going to change? So it's a very small drop in a much bigger issue about people who are on the breadline and are struggling for whatever reason, and whose circumstances may change and find they just, they've got to toss up between children's clothes and putting food on the table.
Park Barn is sort of like the mothership, really, and we manage all the stock from there, and sort of all the central admin from there. But then Belfields and Merrow have their own branch managers who manage the sort of actual bag packing and delivery and distribution. It's always moving. I mean, we have a standard list of items that we give out in a package. And yeah, inevitably we sort of, one runs low or whatever. So yeah, we're always asking for something a bit different, but always within the parameters of that list, really. Yeah, there's a mixture. I mean, we didn't used to do deliveries, really. But now, since COVID, I suppose partly with isolation and partly, I think we've actually increased the size of our parcels and sort of started including sort of fresh milk and bread and stuff. It's basically got bigger and bulkier. So if people don't have a car or something, or somebody who can come and help them, it's quite a lot. You probably couldn't really manage it on foot all that easily. Some people are very organised and come with a rucksack or a shopping trolley or something. Basically, we have a whole set of referrers around the town and more widely, and they have access to our online system. So it might be the churches have it, or GP surgeries, or the Citizens Advice Bureau, or the homeschool link workers. They're one of our most active referrers. So a client would contact them and ask for a referral to us, so it's really the referrer who then has the knowledge about that individual situation. Yeah, I mean, we had a huge spike at the beginning of the first lockdown. It was sort of about 5 times busier than we would normally have been. And then that calmed down quite a lot, because lots of other organisations got things in place, so. But we're now operating at about close to 3 times our pre-COVID average sort of thing. I think part of it initially was people just were a bit worried or just didn't know what lay ahead, and I think that sort of caused an anxiety around food, didn't it? People are obviously in a situation where they literally don't know where they're going to get their next bit of shopping, how they are going to achieve their next bit of shopping or bit of food, So, yeah, obviously we're invaluable to them in that situation. We try to be open to individual situations. There isn't a one rule fits all sort of thing. So, yeah, we try to be mindful of that and try and work accordingly. I mean, it's a big challenge, just to do that properly, really. But we try to do it lovingly, and to try and get it right, really.